The audio is not working. Mutes, unmutes microphone, and microphone doesn't work. Oh, man, this is like... It's like one of those things. Hold on a second. I'm going to check this the way that you guys would be able to check it. Wait. Oh, you can hear me? Man, how did... Why's that got no... Weird. Well, Josh Douglas, first comment of the night. Thank you. Very helpful. Okay. Well, either way, it's working. Hopefully the audio sounds relatively decent. Welcome to Tuesday. It is Tuesday evening, March 23rd. And now, I've done a bunch of work with the computer, and now apparently my audio readout over here, audio level, doesn't work. So that is yet another nightmare, but if it's working, who cares, right? So today, just to give you a little bit of rundown with the computer nonsense, I've had considerable issues trying to maintain my camera feed. Those of you that have been watching the live streams and stuff, my camera feed keeps dropping out for some reason, and I have Peyton head. I have Peyton Manning head right now. Big red spot from wearing a hat in the hot weather all day. Took my hat off because it's hot. Again, another hot day here. But I was having problems with the camera communicating properly with XSplit. XSplit is my encoder. XSplit's the encoder that sends the video and audio to YouTube so that it's basically pre-processed, if that makes sense. Might be confusing to somebody out there that's never live streamed, but I basically need another program, which is XSplit, that I send it in, and then it goes to YouTube from there. It can't just go straight to YouTube like some people can with like their phone. I'm not allowed to stream from my phone. I don't have enough subscribers. I pretty regularly lose a ton of subscribers, and I actually was working on getting the screen capture stuff, but I'm running out of time for the day, so it was time to just do this live stream as limited as it was. I was going to do a screen capture, but let's hold on a second. I want to give you the actual numbers because I can't show you a screen capture right now of but let's go over here to the analytics. A lot of people get hung up on the analytics, and I check them out myself because they're entertaining. Here we go. Subscribers. Let's see. So I've gained a net gain of 35 subscribers, although 102 new ones came and 67 left. But in order to live stream from your phone to YouTube, you have to have over 10,000 subscribers. Now, I only have over 5,000 subscribers, mainly because I lose a lot of them because sometimes I swear or whatever. That is what it is, and I'm not really concerned about that, but I've never crested the 10,000 mark, so I can't do it just straight from my phone. Otherwise, I think I probably would often do it right from my phone. I have a Samsung Galaxy S7 or something like that. I don't know. It's the newer, but I think they just released a new one. But it's a good phone. It's a great phone. Works fantastically. I would probably live stream from that because it works super well. And actually shoots better video than these cameras. But I digress about these cameras. So what I did with the computer today, the big thing with the computer was, all right, so my software was actually encoding as if I was using Windows 8, if that makes any sense. It was set on a legacy setting that was interpreting that Windows was Windows 8 instead of Windows 10. Now, I tried to fix that within the programming of XSplit itself with a couple of changes, and that basically gave us 0 resolution. to the camera problem itself. So it came back. So then I had a thought, and I was digging deep here. I went back, and I checked my BIOS to see what my BIOS was. To those of you that are computer dorks out there, the BIOS is basically what's the way to describe it? It's sort of like the nervous system, sort of the thing that's telling things what to do as your computer fires up. And I was about 4 or 5 releases behind on my BIOS, so I ended up downloading a new BIOS and going that direction. Those of you that have done that before, it's not very complicated if you've actually done it. If it's your first time doing it, it can be very confusing. Of course, there are a million YouTube tutorials to just walk you through that. It's not the hardest thing. But if you do get the wrong program and put it onto your computer, you have a good chance of frying the whole system. So just make sure you pay attention to what... And there's like 4 warnings before before you can actually change the BIOS. And a lot of people out there would recommend to not update your BIOS if your computer's working fine. But I try to update it as regularly as possible. The motherboard that I have actually has an actual BIOS input on it, so you can it's really difficult to screw up if they've really figured out that people have screwed up the BIOS in the past and blah blah blah. So it seems to be running real stable now. Although, as I said, the screen capture function doesn't work, and it just looks like a black box on the screen with my cursor moving around in it, which doesn't really explain exactly what is going on in the screen capture. It's just a black screen with a cursor moving around in it. Not that entertaining, and it definitely can't capture anything to show you guys the exact stuff. But anyhow, that all links together. Now, we have a couple of questions from yesterday that I think only I was asking myself in regards to what I was talking about, but we got some answers here today. And the screen capture, I was hoping to show you a couple of these things, but I'll have to just remember and not be exactly correct. I'll be close, but not exactly correct. Deadboy NYC, hello. Oh, I should probably type back to people every once in a while. You know, that's always fun. Hola. Hole. No, that's not right. I'm still getting used to having my keyboard down here in my lap. And, you know, just to be witty, we'll throw a hole in there, too. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so the questions from yesterday, question number 1 was the insulation, because the house was super hot yesterday, and we haven't re-insulated the house, and we just haven't gotten to it yet. There's just so many projects, and I'll explain some of that in just a little bit. I look like I'm glaring down. Sorry about that, guys. My screens are set up a little bit weird, so whenever I look over at the chat, I look very concerned. But so the insulation. So the insulation question from yesterday, yes, the original insulation had asbestos in it, and it probably had something to do with steam engines and insulating steam engines. There was a guy, I think in 1890, was the guy that invented it. The first one was the first fiberglass. The first insulation was released as a dress, which if you've ever gotten insulation on you, I don't know how anybody could have worn a dress made out of that crap and survived. I would lose my mind. I would probably attack somebody like a large motor vehicle and lay myself underneath it in attack mode and let it run over me. Maybe the freeway. But it didn't go into service until like 1938, which this house built in 1924. So it makes sense that there would be no insulation in this home because it actually wasn't really made until then. And it turns out they had asbestos in the early stuff, which I've run into. We've had to remove insulation from certain houses because there's asbestos in it. And then that company got sued a whole bunch and then went out of business and then came back and is now the top producer of insulation. So I don't I think that just gives you a little bit of a look into how America is ridiculous sometimes. So these screwballs, through a class action lawsuit, found out that they were poisoning a ton of people, went out of business, and then just reopened themselves a few years later, once all the anger died down or whatever, and now are the top producers of insulation. Not to say that those guys shouldn't be producing insulation. I'm sure they do it fine. But it just seems weird that you'd get away with that. It seems odd. It seems very odd. I don't know. The other question was the duck question, which some people were answering, like Mr. Potato himself, that you can clip their flight feathers. And I guess this was in relation to whether I would keep pigeons for food, not pigeons, quails for food or any of that kind of stuff. And I don't like putting mammals into cages. It just seems, I don't know, it just seems totally wrong to me, not for you or for anybody else. I don't like doing it. So the quails are probably out of the question because you have to keep them in some kind of cage debacle, and I don't necessarily want to build a giant quail cage in my backyard, so probably out of the question. But the ducks are definitely on, like Donkey Kong, you know what I'm saying? So it turns out I talked to a farmer that has ducks, and lots of ducks that cycle in and out. They actually have a large pond on their property. I'm not gonna divulge any information, but semi-famous person. That was a pregnant pause right there. You better be watching the video, otherwise it doesn't make a lot of sense. Just goofing around on you guys. But so they have a big pond on their property, and they keep a bunch of ducks and actually harvest the duck eggs and all that stuff. And my real question was, how do you keep the ducks here when those buddies can fly like 2,000 miles? How do you keep them here? And apparently, the answer to the question is the simplest answer I've ever heard in my entire life. Feed them. I guess that if you feed ducks, they just go, hey, it's cool here. There's food. We'll just stay. And especially if you get them from the little peep stage. I like to call them peeps when they're real small. If you get them real small and feed them from when they're really small, they will just stay. They just think you're imprinted on them or whatnot, and they think you're probably somehow related to them or whatever, like you're their mom or something like that. And so they'll just stay if there's food. And then here's the added weird bonus is that you never really have to worry about breeding because other ducks will show up and hang out, especially if you have like a pond. The reason I was saying that they have a pond is because they have a decent amount of property. So they have a pond, so other random ducks will come and show up and then just stay because there's food. And so you never really have to worry about the genetics or anything like that because there's always different wild ducks showing up and hanging out and just staying and doing some breeding. So sometimes they have enough eggs, and then they hatch some of them, and then they have peeps, and then they have more ducks, and then sometimes more ducks show up, and then they just hang out and stay. Dead Boy NYC, oh yeah, ducks will stay, and other ducks will join. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I was just like, really? It's just as easy as that? You just feed them, and then they'll just continue hanging out. And the answer to my question was, yeah. So we have set forth a minor set of wheels in motion because some of these people are very observant with the wild ducks that actually fly in, and so they keep an eye out where these typical nests are and stuff. So it turns out the cheap and free way to get some ducks is to just wait until there's a whole bunch of little chicks and stuff with the ducks and feed them, whether they're wild or not, and then just capture a couple of the ducklings, which I thought was insane. But it turns out that's like the easiest way to do it. I mean, I guess you just don't take them all. You don't be like a savage and take, if they have 8 ducklings, just take all 8. So you just, from a little group, you'll take 2 and then maybe 2 over there and then 2 over there. And you got like 6 ducks, and everybody's still got babies, so everybody's cool with the whole situation. It seems totally reasonable to me, and I never even thought about it as simply as that. I thought it was like super complicated. Like I got to go to the feed store and I got to pay a guy, and then I got to bring him back here in a box or something. But apparently, I just need to get a box and some stale bread. I'm probably gonna employ one of the crafty kids. It's always good if you can get those like just before teenage year size kids, because they're very spry and agile and can catch little things like chicks or ducklings or whatnot. I hear that word on the street. Word on the street is that's how you get some of those. I did end up shooting some video today when I got home, but honestly, I spent a lot of time getting this computer situation figured out, and I think the ghost in the machine was the BIOS. But then I started shooting some video, and I realized that I ended up with a bunch of video of me just kind of standing around, scratching my beard, and just looking like, And I figured I could just make a live video of this, and then the time-lapse stuff that I have, I'll just glom into the, the future videos, you know what I'm saying? I'll throw those in the background and just add them in. But the main reason I was standing around scratching my beard is I was trying to figure out exactly what I need to get done in the fish room next, because I sort of have my order of operations a little bit wonky. And some of the stuff is not going to be that interesting to you guys because I have to build so let's explain this real quick. So I need to build the other workbench and some shelves for Victoria so that I can move some big rollaway toolboxes that are in the wrong spot, move those over. Then I can get the 110 that is going to come out of the fish room, out of the way. Then I can finish building the stand for the new 180 and push it back in there. For some reason today, I started working on cutting and building the stand for the Reef 180. And I realized, oh crap, man, I'm like 5 steps ahead of that. It was hot out, and it was a very confusing day. With work, we made a lot of headway, and then we ran into a wall, figuratively and literally. And so we've had to kind of shift gears on a project a little bit, and then we went to go put in an order that would be delivered, and they're like, man, we'll deliver it next week because we got to take naps or whatever. They're just booked. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving the Home Depot peeps a hard time. The guy didn't want to do it. He just really didn't want to. It was obvious. It was on the guy's face. It was written there. Plain as day. He was done with it for today, and they didn't want to push any kind of delivery for materials. So we're going to get up early tomorrow, pick up the materials, and then head out to the job site. So hopefully I can get back here early enough to shoot a little bit of video and do a live stream before I have to go up to Seattle for a meeting and then come back. Because by the time I get back, it's too late to do a live stream. Not like for the world, because the world's 24 hours a day. It's too late for me. When I get back from that meeting, it is too late in the night for me to start a live stream, because I'll be up too late, and the next day I'll be super cranky, and people don't like it when I'm super cranky, because I have a tendency to bring a dark cloud around everybody that's around. So hopefully I'll get that done. I'm gonna build those shelves and stuff and move all that crap out of the way, and then I can pull the 110 out. I could have pulled the 110 out today, but as I said yesterday, Victoria wasn't feeling very well, so I didn't really want to drag her out there and go and have her carry stuff. You know what I mean? Like, hey, grab the other end. So it just seemed kind of inconvenient. So I just organized some stuff out there and got some things ready, and then figured out my notes for the next time I walk in there and I'm kind of tired. I'll know exactly what I need to get on right away, which is... Nobody has the answer. I went for a pregnant pause there. No one had the answer. I need to build the shelves for Vicky and get all that stuff dialed in. Happy wife, happy life. Somebody was asking me, so let's say in regards to that, somebody was asking if I was going to marry Victoria, which hey man, that's super personal, but I get where you're coming from. I understand the question, so I will give you an honest answer. That is my plan. Although, my job is to ask, and if she says no, then it's going to be a no-go. So it's my job to ask when her answer would probably be yes. I have not asked her because I have a plan. I have a plan, and I'm not going to tell the internet about it because then she'll find out. Y'all will tell her. Y'all will tell her what my plan is, so nobody knows what my plan is but me. But that is most likely the future. That is the plan. So don't tell her I said that was the plan, because then she'll know that was the plan, and then she'll know that something's coming. Something's up. The jig is up. Let's see. So what else was the thing that I wanted to hit on? Oh yeah, the Coraline and the new 180. I've actually started chipping some of that off. Pretty boring video, but getting the prep for that. To get all that Coraline off there, because it was a reef tank previously, and then I've been going through a lot of the plumbing to make sure that the plumbing is going to be sufficient, because it has a single 2-inch overflow on it right now, and typically I do a dual overflow, but I might end up doing the single and just keep it single, and then have a safety overflow on the other side in case something happens and clogs up the overflow. I'll probably just put a little safety over there, and I can use that bulkhead to mount part of the back that I'm going to do. Ty Hang was asking, do I have Canadian geese in my area that will chase away the ducks? To be honest, I have Canadian geese are around. They're very prevalent, but they are very spotty, like where they like to go. There's like certain areas where they like to go in Western Washington. So it's weird because you won't see them at all, and then you'll drive somewhere and there's just like a ton of them. They like to hang around ponds and stuff like that, and there's no big water. Well, there's a ton of water features, lakes and streams and the Puget Sound and all that stuff. There's tons of bodies of water. There it is. Bodies of water around us. We just don't happen to have any like in our backyard or anything like that. So I don't think that the Canadian geese are going to be messing with the ducks at all. If they really would to mess with that, just go Queen of the Hearts. What is it? Queen of the Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, and just off with their head, right? Or is that illegal? I think goose hunting is probably illegal if you don't have some kind of permit. Okay, don't go out and kill geese and then say that I told you to do it. Just goofing around. Matthew Waybright, what's up, man? What is going on? It's a beautiful Tuesday, and crap weather is coming back tomorrow. Well, it's beautiful 85, and then they're saying it's going to drop back down to 50, and probably rain tomorrow. I was hoping for some more of this warm weather to help dry times on things. I got to do some spray texture tomorrow and dig out a big drainage system that we didn't think we had to do. But like I said, we hit that wall today in that project, so we're going to have to be hammering some concrete and poking some holes in the earth and making it drain better. Not super complicated. I don't think it's anything that I would ever even imagine that somebody would make a video out of it, but I'm sure somebody has. Let's dig a hole, put some rocks and a pipe in it, put the dirt over the top, make the water go down that way. Pretty simple. Gravity. Matthew Waybright, they just sit in the parks down here in PDX. Yeah, in Portland, it's the same thing up here. They're just in the parks and stuff like that. It would be weird to see them in the neighborhood, probably because there's so much people action, cars, all that kind of stuff, and really houses are obstructing their hanging out in the water and that kind of stuff. So that probably is the big thing. Dwayne Kitchell says, let the jackhammer do the work, don't fight it. I don't fight it. I let my jackhammer... I actually have a hammer drill, and And so I go about it that way. Typically for an inset drain that I'm doing right now, a lot of people out there would use a hot saw, but a hot saw would actually cut a hole that was too big for what I want to do here. I'm just adding a couple of 1.5-inch drains, nothing too dramatic, not a 3 or a 4-inch or anything like that. It's actually pretty small. It's just going to be motivating some water that typically accumulates in a corner of like a large patio area. So I'm just motivating a little of that extra water that could possibly end up there, if that makes sense. And a hot saw would leave too big of a hole, so I'll actually just be using my my jackhammer, my rotary hammer, whatever you want to call it, and I'll actually drill all the pilot holes, and then I'll also drill into the side so that I can throw a couple little pieces of rebar around the side to help just keep it from the what do you call it? From the concrete slipping or cracking as it cures. I'll be using some self-leveling, so it actually has a pretty good adhesion compared to most things out there. Although that stuff runs like $40 to $45 a bag, which is just ultimately annoying because there really isn't anything else that does self-leveling other than self-leveler. It's annoying. Matt Waybright, how's Victoria feeling tonight? I was just talking about how Victoria was not feeling well yesterday. She's feeling much better today, but I didn't really want to push it, man. I just want my lady to be able to chill out, have some dinner, and relax a little bit, and hopefully tomorrow she'll be back to 100%, and we'll go from there. That would be nice. Like I said yesterday, it really upsets me when she's not feeling well. I feel terrible, and I feel helpless too. Like I don't know what to do. Like I can't take the flu away from her. It's like here's some Gatorade. Like I didn't really do much, and I didn't even make the Gatorade. Maybe I should figure out how to make some kind of juice. Well, that's stupid because I already know how to do that. So I should probably just make something super delicious for her if she's not feeling well. That's what I'm going to do next time. Next time I'll make her like a blueberry honeydew juice thing. That'd be dope. I think that'd be a good idea. Yeah, I think I'll go that way. That's what I'm going to do. I figured it out, man. I just solved it. I just solved all that stuff. Make some juice. Dwayne says chicken soup. Yeah, I've made her chicken soup before, that's for sure. I've definitely done that too. Although it was like 85 degrees out and it was super hot, so I think the last thing she wanted to do was eat soup yesterday. Dwayne is awake from raiding Jim's fish room. Video coming tomorrow. I don't know who Jim's fish room is, but I probably should have raided it when I was in Kentucky. Oh, that reminds me. Something feed store. Hold on, let me look this up. No. Hold on, I gotta look this up. Feed store, New Lou. So in Louisville, I'm saying that right. Louisville. You gotta say it like you got a mouthful of gravel. Louisville. There was a farm store. All right, hold on. I'm looking this up. And hopefully somebody out there was asking me what was the place in... Oh, man. This does not help me. The community. Hold on a second here. We're going to find this. I know right where it was because I remember looking at the... Okay, maybe I only kind of know where it was. is over here. There's a chocolate shop. Hold on, maybe I'm zoomed in too much. Oh, crap. This is funny. It's funny that people are watching me doing this. Hold on. Did I get it? Is that it? Oh, crap, that's not it. Hold on a minute. Maybe I should go street view and like cruise around on the street. No, go back. That is like really close to where it was. There's like 4 who's what's it's. Okay, so we have to go down this street. Stockyards Bank and Trust. Okay, that's where that was. I didn't realize that there was a. Is there a bank there? St. Joseph's. Oh man. All right, never mind. Sorry, that's taking way too long. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I did go to a feed supply store. Somebody in Lowellville was doing. They had a bunch of planted tanks there, and I really didn't think about it at the time. They had like a really big planted tank area for a feed store, and I'm really interested in trying to locate that now again. But they had a bunch of planted tanks in there, and then somebody was asking me about what it was. Okay, so there's Buchanan Street. There's Quincy Street. There's Franklin Street. Okay, so you go out and you go up Franklin Street. Maybe it was the corner. Oh, shit. I think we're close. Oh, there's like nothing on that corner. Damn it. Baxter Boy Avenue. O'Shea's Irish Pub. Damn it. I think it was on Chestnut. Man, it's in Nulu in Louisville. They're keeping Louisville weird. I can't figure out what store it is, but it's in the Nulu area, and it's not this one. What is that? It's not Fresh Start Grower Supply. It's not that. I sound like I have a weird tripping over my tongue today. It's like in this area. It's in the Nulu area, but I can't figure out where that weird corner was. It's on like this weird, wonky corner. And man, I'm gonna have to stop because this is the most boring thing. Watching me trying to figure out. There's the Hilltop Tavern. There's Clifton First. Frankfort Avenue. Man, it should be like right over here on the corner of Baxter and what is that? Maybe East Main and Story. That looks like the building layout, but it doesn't say. I don't know. That's a pho place. Man, ridiculous. Because that's the corner that it should be on, but it says that it's a pho place. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look that up. Oh, I know what I could do. My sister bought dog food there. Maybe I could bug my sister, and then she could maybe look at her bank statement or whatever, and then tell me what it is. Bingo. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll bug my sister and find out what that place was. But it wasn't like a pet store necessarily. It was like a feed store, and the guy had a big planted tank area that it was surprising. It was not really like what I was expecting. We were just gonna sit out in the car while my sister went in and got dog food, and I ended up looking at what was on the sign out front, and the sign was like, chicken feed, dog food, blah blah blah, hay, cages, blah, and it was like freshwater aquarium fish, and I was like, maybe they just got some weird goldfish or something in there. And it turns out they actually had a really decent selection. And they actually had a bunch of plants, like I said, and a bunch of planted tanks. And then, of course, the requisite, here's my planted tank that you can't buy anything from. Which is my favorite thing when you go into a store and you find out that that's like the guy that works there is using his knowledge to have a display tank in the store so he doesn't have to have a display tank at home, or maybe he's got extra ones at home and this is his extra tank or whatever. That always cracks me up. And sorry about this noise back here. I'm rewrapping my Gank nasty thumb with some band-aids so that I don't do anything weird to it in the nighttime. The thumb is healing really well. My thumb is a weird shape now, but I'm happy to say that it started growing a nail where they didn't think it was going to grow a nail. So it might be super weird, but just to give you an idea, this is, I don't know if you can tell from the camera or the angle how much smaller this thumb, this whole end is missing. It's all pointy. Matt Weber was telling me that I got a pointy thumb now, and I figure, it's all the better to jab people in the eye with. If someone's trying to attack me, I can just get them with the pointy thumb, or just show it to them and they'll probably run off, just because of how gnarly it is. But what the hell was I talking about? Louisville, yeah. And that plant store in Louisville, they call it Nulu. So in Seattle, they have a place called Sodo, which is where all the hipsters and people in extra tight jeans and whatnot sort of have all these like hip kind of warehouse spaces and stuff like that. They call it Sodo. The south of the dome is what it stands for. The Nulu area in Louisville stands for the New Louisville. But we spent a lot of time in that Nulu area, and actually it was really nice. It was kind of a really good mix of some kind of innovative new energy and then a lot of the old industrial stuff that was going on. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm still wondering where our whiskey barrel stool is at. Because it has been a little while, and it probably should have shipped and been delivered by now, but it hasn't come. And I've really wanted to show you guys that stuff and hopefully maybe get that guy an order or something, but it hasn't showed up yet. So maybe that's bad news. Maybe it's bad news it hasn't showed up. Here's my old coffee cup from today. I've converted it to water, so maybe I can avoid the coughing and hacking by the end of the video once I've been talking for a really long time on the live stream. Dwayne Kitchell drove to Sashimi Whiskey's house. He is moving out to Washington to do video editing for Corey. Got 100 shrimp, 30 rainbows, and a pleco, 20 nice endlers, and several other tanks so you won't have to move them. Wait. Sashimi Whiskey. That almost sounds familiar. But he's moving out here to do video editing for Corey. Okay. That's wild. I didn't realize that Corey was moving people out. It's awesome. That's totally cool. I mean, that's rad. I've never moved anybody out to come work for me. More often than not, most of the people that work for me are flat broke. But that is totally cool that you were able to hook up a decent, a badass deal like that. Did you pay him for anything, or did you just get all that stuff from him for free because you didn't want to like throw it out or any of that kind of stuff? I'm guessing you probably paid him a little bit. It seems familiar. Sorry about the sound being super low when I move away from the mic. I have to talk pretty quietly in here because this room is like an echo chamber, and it makes my audio sound like hell if I'm being really loud when I'm in here. So I have to kind of talk quietly and sort of sacrifice a little bit of volume for the fact that that it doesn't end up echoing too much in here. I have some soundproofing on order sound deadening for this room is coming in to stop some of the echo in here, and a little bit of math and a little bit of craftiness, and we'll have some kind of some cool goofy squares up on the walls in here that will actually fit the curtains. I think you can see a little bit of the curtain right down there. It's sort of this sort of off dark blue, lighter than dark blue. Maybe if you turn the brightness up on a dark blue. Maybe if you turn the contrast down a little bit. Maybe if you turn the gain up. And those will fit in with some of the charcoal colored sound deadening in here. So sorry about that. If I move away too much, it gets quiet. 13 hours on the road to get there and back. Just woke up. He says the end of July, maybe June. Shh. It's a big secret. Is it a big secret? Oh. Well, if we blew the big secret, that's not cool. Really, my question was for Dwayne was he moving? Was he just moving out here, or because I know that somebody told me that Corey was hiring. He was looking for somebody, and was that the guy that like got the gig and then was like, "Screw it, man, I want to move to Washington," or what? I don't know. I guess I should maybe find out if he has a channel or something and go check it out on the YouTubes. Or maybe I'll just go talk to Corey or something. Yeah. I guess I'll figure that out. I'll probably get to the bottom of that. In more tightly knit... sorry about that. It seems like the video paused for a second, but it was actually just me sitting super still. I was actually reading what Dwayne put up there. But in some lighter news, I found out that my man Potato is actually breeding flame apistos down in Oregon. And he's the guy that I'm going to be getting all that live rock from for the reef. So I'm probably going to coordinate all that going together and go down to the wet spot. And what is the other Portland? It's not the wet spot. The World of Wet Pets. Ha, I remembered it. The World of Wet Pets, I think, is what it's called. Damn it. I felt like I remembered it, but I might be wrong. But either way, the two stores in Portland, we're actually just going to go and check them out just to have checked them out. I've ordered from the Wet Spot quite a few times in the past. Very nice people on the phone, and I've never actually gotten the opportunity to wander into the store and look around. Most everything I've ever dealt with those guys was online, so I look forward to get the opportunity to actually go in and walk around in their store. So, Potato does work with one of the stores, the one that I thought was the World of Wet Pets. But seems like that's probably the wrong name. But either way, we're going to go to both of the stores, and Potato actually has some apistos, so I'm going to see what apistos they have. I'm going to see what he's got. I'm going to kind of scope it out a little bit, which will be pretty cool. I know that apistos aren't like super rare. They're not a big-time rare fish, but I do really enjoy their personality, so I'm looking forward to getting some of those going. And I'm still on the hunt for a local-ish. I'm at local-ish. I'm thinking Sarah Ann. It is the World of Wet Pets. How did I remember that? Half my brain is broken, and somehow I remembered something. That's fantastic. I'm going local-ish, realistically. And when I say local-ish, I mean United States. So hopefully somebody out there has a big group of crystals or something along those lines, and has like a decent price on them. The biggest issue I always fall into is somebody looking for $500 or $600 or $1,000 or something along those lines, and it ends up being a problem because I don't got that kind of money to throw down on stuff right now because we spent most of our ducats. But on that money tip, I do have a bit of the funding now to move ahead on getting some of the stuff done. So I was counting up my substrate, And I think I have enough substrate freshwater for sure, but I'm probably going to have to end up ordering some reef salt, which will coming in. I do need to add a couple of, I do need to order a couple of filters for my Rode. So luckily I can just Amazon one-click that stuff. Speaking of Amazon one-click, if you guys go to darkstararts.com, that's my website, which has a bunch of my art and nonsense on there. You can click on the Amazon banner and it kicks you through to Amazon, but it basically just leaves a tracking cookie that says I'm the one that sent you. It doesn't matter what you buy there. I don't know what or who bought what. All I know out of the whole deal is what was purchased. I don't know where it's going. I don't know who bought it or any of that kind of stuff. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's the same price. It doesn't change the price of anything. It just essentially takes away the advertising fee from places like Facebook or whatever. The last place that you clicked through to go to Amazon is the person that's getting that advertising fee. That's one of those things that most people don't realize about how the internet connectivity works. For instance, net neutrality is very important. It's kind of in the news right now. You guys should look that up if you get a chance and get a little bit educated on that. But that is how the internet basically works. It's how it's fueled right now. People wonder how Facebook makes so much money when they don't actually sell a product. What they sell is advertising. They get paid by every single ad that you see on Facebook. They get paid for that, whether it's for Walmart or something that you think is not even advertised related. That's just how that stuff works. That's how all that SEO is tracking what you're clicking on. You'll essentially get a cookie that is embedded in your browser. It won't affect anything. It just says that where you came from, the last place that you came from, and then it'll get deleted once the next one that you carry on. There's just really no way to get around it. I'm sure there's some super wizard out there that can probably figure out how to mangle their phone or whatnot to make that stuff go away. But that's the reality of how these companies generate a lot of money is, Facebook gets paid every time someone clicks through all those Amazon banners and all that kind of stuff. If you see an ad that is linked to something that you've searched in the past and you go and click through that, and even if you don't buy it, it's going to be carrying that for the next time that you go back and you go like, oh yeah, I need to order cookies and lawn darts. They will get paid for that. It's just a little bit of information if you've never even noticed that before. But like I said, when we're going down to Portland and stuff, I do have a busy Memorial Day weekend coming up, and there will be no videos for Memorial Day weekend. We are going backpacking 26 miles up in the Olympic Peninsula. I'm just going to leave it at the Olympic Peninsula, probably because we don't need to GPS locate where we're at. And it doesn't matter anyhow, because as I talked about earlier in the video, I don't have 10,000 subscribers, so I can't even live stream from my phone. So if I was out there and I happened to have signal, TIFF, I wouldn't be able to do it from my cell phone anyhow, so it wouldn't matter. But we're going to be doing that. We're going to be hiking all weekend, so we'll probably be back with the live stream on Monday. I think we're planning on getting back fairly early on Monday because we're leaving Friday night after work to drive out, rack out, hike early. Saturday, camp up. We'll probably go 13 miles up, 13 miles back, or something like that. Or maybe we'll do 13 and 6.5 probably. That's probably going to be the best bet. Go big on the first day, then go kind of timid on the second day, and then just finish it out with an early morning hike on Monday, and then drive back down. So probably Monday evening, I'll be back with a live stream. I'm not sure if I have work on Friday yet, so if I don't have work on Friday, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a live stream on Friday morning. So I would love to do these live streams set to a schedule. But that seems virtually impossible right now to try and keep some kind of schedule and come in and do a live stream at 5:00. So, I'm just fitting them in when I can. So if you like being live to the live stream, you have to go to the main page and make sure that you turn on, notifications. If you sometimes YouTube's. I think I'm 100 years old. I just pluralized YouTube. That's terrible. Anyhow, YouTube will turn off notifications as you add new subscriptions, so things will get bounced off the back end, and basically so it stops notifying everybody of everything that they've ever subscribed to. So if you don't have those notifications turned on, go back, check, and turn it on, and you'll be getting a notification whenever we go live. It'll just send you an email. Would be kind of cool if they actually sent you paper mail whenever we went live. We'll figure out how to do that with drones in the future. Send out Amazon drones flying around to drop off paper mail to people, to let people know that people are broadcasting on the internet. That is fantastic. Dwayne was saying you tried to give him some money, blah, blah, blah. So he has been doing Corey's videos, and yes, now he's coming there too. So Sashimi is coming out. Has he been doing the video? I don't know. Man, I don't know. I'll just go talk to Corey at some point. Figure it out. Don't worry about answering my questions for what's going on and other stuff. I'll probably just go up and talk to Corey and hang out or whatever. To figure out when we can convene, or maybe I can get him to come down here and then I won't have to commute. It would be easier. I should probably get some of my tanks set up before I do that, but I'll set that up, and Corey will probably, he mentioned recently that he wants to come down and check out my place, so, and then I just saw his video of his 800-gallon tank this morning. I didn't realize that he had a brand new tank, and then I got a notification from the guy that built it, I had finished the build, and not to not advertise for the guy, I just can't remember his name. I know what it looks like when I get a thing from him. But he had just finished the build. Very reputable builder, that's for sure. And that was a dope tank, brand new acrylic, sexy acrylic. All my acrylics always used and abused by people that don't polish and take care of their acrylic all that well. So, a little envious of that crystal clear acrylic, but I know that it will get scratched. Somebody will scratch it. Probably not Corey, but somebody will scratch it. And I'm not going to say I'm going to laugh. I'm just going to say that happens, because it definitely does. But dude, what a dope tank, and all the custom cutouts and stuff. That's nice. But I just got the notification for that video, so who knows? Maybe the notifications don't necessarily work, or I get them late, or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, the biggest thing that I need to get set up is get those stands done and all that stuff, and then set up the 240. The 240 is going to be the first tank that's going to have water hit in it, because I already know how to set that tank up. I have all my stuff laid out. I'm ready to go. I just need to get the plumbing done, which... Actually, full disclosure here, I went to start some of the plumbing and realized I need to order a bulkhead. So speaking of Amazon earlier, I need to pop on Amazon, order a couple of bulkheads before I go to sleep tonight. So note to self, remember to order a couple of bulkheads so I'm ready to go on that plumbing. If I can finish, all right, I need to finish those shelves. That's it. I'm coming up with goofy ideas to try and mess with a 240 when I need to get the other part done. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So that will be the video for tomorrow. We're coming up on the 1 hour. I'm going to call it 54 minutes. I'm going to call it early tonight because it is actually late, and I need to get to bed with my lady and get up super early and go pick up lumber, because my Home Depot homies was tripping today. The Home Depot homies was tripping and didn't want to deliver this morning. Probably because they're super busy because the weather got really nice. So it's understandable. It's just how that stuff happens with that stuff. But that's what's going on. Hope everybody had a lovely Tuesday. I'm getting ready for probably get my rain pants out tomorrow, because apparently the rain's coming back. So Dwayne, I'm glad to hear you got all that new stuff. Dead Boy NYC, it's great to see you again. Cole Schramm for sure. Sarah Ann, first time, I think. It's like first time, long time. Ty Hang, homie is always on the ball for sure. Josh Cuesta, probably saying that wrong. Matthew Waybright for sure. And Josh Douglas, the first commenter of the night, checking in with the audio level. The fish room it's so close to coming up online, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I probably would have had it done already, but it's the money issue, really. It's just that thing. Yeah, I got to go get the money. It's the problem. So I have to go do stuff in order to get that money. Oh, Sarah is Potato's wife. I've met her in person, so it's not the first time. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We'll be back tomorrow at some time. I wish I could say what time things were happening, but maybe I'll find a sponsor that's like a pig food sponsor or something cool like that, and maybe just block out a day at time, an hour out of the day. That seems like a goofy idea. Maybe, who would be a good sponsor? Something lasers, something to do with lasers would be fantastic, or boat oars. Chocolate. I think. Oh. Chocolate peanut butter ice cream. I need to find an ice cream. Oh, that's what I need. I need to find an ice cream sponsor is what I really need to do. But good night for everybody coming out. I don't have any ice cream to go eat, which is depressing. But I should probably just go to sleep anyhow, and not have those calories tonight and slim down a little bit. Summertime's coming. That's it for tonight. I got to find the button. Where's the output button? Oh, there it is. Output button. All right. Later.